So thank you again for joining us here at Token 2049 Singapore. Our next panel discussion, From Seed to Scale, How Projects Achieve 10x Growth. Up on stage, we'd like to invite our moderator, Kian, a journalist from Cointelegraph, joined by Cecilia, the CSO of Mexi, Sai, the Story Protocol, co-founder and CEO of Story Protocol, and Hasib, our managing partner from Dragonfly. So let's get our moderator and panel members up on stage.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. I won't tear the sack up, punk you better back up.
Every great blockchain project begins as an idea. At Maxi Ventures, we help turn those ideas into global impact. With over $2 billion under management, more than 300 projects backed, and partnerships with over 10 leading funds, we've built a track record of shaping innovation. We support projects that redefine blockchain standards, from Athena, Aptos, and Ton to Avalanche and Sei, strengthened by collaborations with top funds such as Dragonfly, Polychain, and Marana. Here, we go beyond the capital, amplifying vision through exchange access, strategic campaigns, and global community networks. Our flagship Titan program takes this further, bringing partners to the world stage and creating visibility that lasts. We stand with founders every step of the way, working side by side to turn vision into reality. This is Maxi Ventures, empowering growth through synergy.
Hello, welcome. I'm very much looking forward to this discussion from seed to scale. We've got three amazing industry executives going to be talking about how to achieve 10x growth. Everyone's favorite word in crypto, about how to multiply growth. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick right in. My name's Kieran, I'm from Cointelegraph. We're going to quickly introduce ourselves and I guess also hear from each one of you where you have experienced the 10x growth along your journey as well. So we'll start with Hasib.
So I'm Hasib, managing partner at Dragonfly. We're a global crypto investment firm. We've certainly experienced 10x growth from when we started. I think we managed $100 million back in 2018 when we first started running Dragonfly. Now we're over $4 billion AUM, and we're one of the big funds in the space.
This is SY. I'm the CEO and founder of Story. We are an intellectual property-focused blockchain, and especially we're exploring how IP can be scalably licensed, registered for the age of AI. And I think the biggest inflection point in terms of 10x growth for us is just kind of the ecosystem apps that are building on top of Story. We have now about 100 plus apps with 6 to 7 million wallets that are actually registered. A lot of Web 2 apps on top of Web 3 apps being registered, interfacing with Story. So yeah, that's exciting. Yep.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cecilia Xu. I'm the new CSO of Mexi, and welcome everyone to Mexi stage. So Mexi is, I think most of you know, right? Mexi is a top leading crypto exchanges in the world. In terms of spot trading, we are top 5. In terms of perp trading, we are like top 10 in terms of trading volume. So yeah, welcome everyone, and hope you enjoy our talk. Meanwhile, enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, everyone. Now, I think it's really interesting to hear from all three of you, I guess, what the difficulties and challenges that new projects face when they're trying to grow and scale in this super highly competitive environment that we have in crypto now. We'll start with you, Cecilia.
Yeah, I want to share some story, like my personal experience about 10x a project, because I'm in crypto space for 6 years, entering the 7th year now. My first 3 years was also in crypto exchange. So I co-founded a centralized exchange called VMEX. It was a very good ride, or very exciting story. So the first 3 months of our project, it was like zero. We checked the revenue, the fee every day. I go to office, I check our spreadsheet showing our revenue. It's several $100s a day. Until one day we saw it was $70,000 for one day, and then I check with our data group, is it true? Did you make like the number wrong? And they said it is 7,000. So starting from that day, it starts from 70,000 and then 100,000 and 200,000. So it's picking up super fast. But I mean, 6 years later, when you look into the current projects on the market, I would say if you look at like in a macro way, both the supply side and the demand side has been changed a lot. The supply side, you have thousands of builders coming into crypto because the entry barrier is pretty low for them. So if you have a big trend on the market, everyone just entering. Everyone, I guess after Hyperliquid, after Aster, everyone's gonna build a perp DEX, right? Or everyone is in AI, everyone is building like meme coin for the past several months. So there are so many competitors, not like us 6 years ago. It was just BitMEX, Bybit, and Phemex. So it's very easy to build a new project. And from the demand side, we haven't seen for this trend, for this cycle, there are more new retail users in the cycle. It's more by institution. So all the price rise is pushed by institutions. You don't see many sexy new narratives or real applications which brought the new retail users in, which means that for the demand side, there are not so much increase. But meanwhile, there are so many builders coming in, and they're building projects with no very unique positioning. So that's why the growth started to be very, very difficult for them. Yeah.
And interesting to hear your thoughts as well, SY, about what the main barriers and challenges that you're seeing right now with early projects and scaling.
I can speak to my own experience, but I think what's very difficult is that, I mean, a lot of this cycle has been really driven by kind of the institutional narrative, right? So like, okay, the fact that the Bitcoin ETF happened, the fact that, DATs are happening, those kind of things are really, really driving. And a lot of the early projects, if you look at most of the new projects you see that's being listed this year and last year, besides, Hyperliquid and Ethereum, like most of the projects are facing very hard time because you're not seeing new retail coming in. So that's been very, very tough for at least the kind of the liquid token market. So in that world, how do you capture the audience, capture the attention, bring in the new retail interest? So that's, I think, something someone running a token project, that's been a very big challenge, for sure. I don't have a clear answer for this, but for us, we are playing an infrastructure play we're a chain, but with a special purpose, focused on intellectual property. And in the initial days, we kind of follow the many bottoms-up philosophy of many of these other chains, just giving ecosystem grants, helping others. But I mean, at the end of the day, what we saw, there are a lot of just copy pasta apps being built on top of Story that are like another DEX, another perp DEX, another liquid staking protocol, and that's not what we were built out for. So I think it really changed in terms of how we operated once we started incubating projects. So one example is a company called Aria. So we were very hands-on with building that protocol. So it has now, about $100 million TVL of real IP assets, from Blackpink's catalog to BTS catalog, and you actually get 7 to 10% IP stablecoin yields, and you get bonus yields from points on top of that. So people are getting real IP yield from all these streaming revenue on chain. And then we had to incubate that. And secondly, we can't just incubate. Why don't we make a subsidiary, app subsidiary, that actually focuses on real-world data licensing for AI model companies? So we have a kind of a scale AI like Deepin app that actually, if you record your audio, if you actually record your egocentric video footage, and actually you get points or IP tokens, and all these data get registered with IP terms and get licensed to AI model companies. And we haven't revealed them yet, but we've signed very huge AI model companies to license this data already. So what I realized as a chain is you can kind of pray and other people to come in, but in the early days, actually, you have to be a little bit of app studio to start building your chain, to actually have a lot of activities going. So that's kind of what we learned from bootstrapping our ecosystem. which was a challenge.
Thank you, SY. And I guess from Dragonfly's perspective, Haseeb, what have you noticed been the biggest challenges as well for early companies trying to scale?
So the base case, when you're building a startup, is that it's not that you're going to fail, but rather that you're going to be ignored. That basically nobody cares. You shout into the void, hey, I built a new thing, it's so great, I have this new thesis, blah, 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 and just crickets. And the number one job that any startup has to do is to first and foremost get people to give a shit. And the way that comes is not by, to your point, SY, of doing I'm building X on Y. I'm building, a meme coin launchpad on Berachain or whatever, right? Like, this kind of stuff is not going to get people excited about something new and aggressive that you're doing. We're talking about the PerpDex meta. There's a lot of excitement around PerpDexes, but that excitement is not going to extend to the 12th, the 15th, the 20th, which is somebody who's starting today, unless you have an original idea about how you're going to attack that market. Probably you're just going to get crickets, even though everyone's excited about Aster and Hyperliquid and so on. And so the number one thing, the mistake that I often see from founders is that they're trying to follow what they see in front of them. They're trying to follow the brightest lights that are in front of their windshield. But usually this is the wrong answer. That's not how you build the next Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid wasn't chasing the next meta. Story Protocol wasn't chasing the next meta. They had their own thesis, their own conviction about the way in which crypto ought to change. And that's what fundamentally got people excited, even before that meta had changed. So the number one advice I give to founders is to be more ambitious than you think you're supposed to be. Because ultimately, that often means that you're wrong, but more often than not, it means that you actually get people excited about something new that you bring into the world rather than that you're following somebody else.
I guess we'll follow on with the next question for you, Haseeb. Just on that is, I guess, from your perspective, how can resources like investment or incubation support be best used and leveraged for these early projects to scale?
So if you're working with venture capitalists, right, like ourselves or like Mexi Ventures, we're very good at all the normal stuff that startups need in order to get off the ground. So we can help you with recruiting, we can help you with PR, we can help you with BD, we can connect you to all the important people you need to be in touch with. But often the number one mistake that I see founders make with respect to how they work with their founders is, or how they work with VCs, is not relying on them for the core strategic decisions. Right? Very often, the advantage that VCs have is not that, oh, we have all these resources, we have all these teams, we have all this, this thing, like this grab bag of services. The most important thing is that we see everything. We have the 1,000-foot view of what's going on within the ecosystem, and because of that, we can help you avoid driving into potholes before you ever drive into them. And so the number one mistake I see from founders is that, oh man, why did they do that thing before even talking to us? Because if they did, we could have told them a month ago. Don't do that. That's a mistake. Like I know exactly what's going to happen if you go and try that thing. So oftentimes the advice I give to founders is talk to your VCs more than you think you should. Not about the things that it's like, okay, I need your help on hiring, but on the things that are like, hey, I'm going to make this big strategic decision. What do you think? Because oftentimes your VCs can help you in these big strategic decisions that can be really valuable to your underlying business.
And Cecilia, would you be able to add in your point of view as well from Mexi?
Yeah, of course. So when I was checking the question, I was thinking, after I talk about Mexi, what should Haseeb say? Because it seems like we are replacing VC's work. But after you answer the question, I have a clear picture that VC is more like your brain. Like they see everything on the market and they give you a guide. Like when I was with Morph, you also give us a lot of guide, like how layer 2s should drive to. But in terms of exchanges, I think we actually have a kind of like new logo, a new slogan for Mexi recently. It's not public yet, but I would say it is very, very, it's into our core value, which is empowering users, empowering different parties. So we use Mexi, we extend Mexi meaning into maximize. So we play a little bit with the brand. So we empower everyone's growth. We empower the growth. But who's you? So to Mexi, we have like 3 different group of target audience. One is definitely our traders, our users. And second one is our projects. Like Story is also our listed and invested projects. And third one is, of course, our team, our employees. I think back to your question, how can we empower the growth, maximize the growth of the projects? With Maxi, I think we have 4 very important pillars. One is, as the video showed, that we have Maxi Ventures, which we are still very actively investing in the top, the leading, the very promising projects on the market, including, for example, Story and also Athena. We just announced that we have a second round of investment in Athena, and the total investment reaches 66 million in total to Athena. And also the other leading projects like Tong, like Aptos from the past years. So this is the first thing. We have the fund to support our projects. And the second biggest pillar is Maxi itself. So Maxi, as a leading crypto exchange, we have over 40 million users already. And as I said, that our trading volume, the daily trading volume of perp is around 36 billion, and the spot trading is around 4 to 5 billion every day. So it's a huge trading volume with huge user base. And also, as I mentioned, that we also maximize our users. The reason why users come, 40 million users come and trade with Maxi is that another 4 very important selling point of key features of Maxi, which is we break it down into the abbreviation of our brand name, MEXC. The most important thing is that M stands for most trendy tokens. On Maxi, you will find 4,000 trading pairs in total, including perp and spots. And also, we are always the fastest one to list all these tokens. For example, take Trump as example. Maxi, I think, is the first one who listed Trump on the top leading centralized exchanges. We listed at 2 hours after they start to trading on chain. And most of the exchanges start the trading, I guess, 10 hours after they start on chain. Yeah, this is what M stands for, most trendy tokens. And E stands for everyday airdrop, which means that if you go on Maxi, you will see there are airdrops, there are discounts, there are fee discounts, lucky draw every day for users, which means that for a retail user, it's very easy for you to access or to start to trade your tokens because it's just discount price, right? And then third of all, for X, which means extremely low fee. So we have 4,000 trading pairs, and we have 200 trading pairs, which is 0 fee. And for all the other trading pairs, we have much lower trading fees than the other top exchanges. For big traders, for frequent, like daily traders, fee is always very important. But actually, if you go to the top leading ones, you pay tons of trading fees to them, which many users even don't know about it. But on Maxi, the fee is extremely low, and we would rather to share, the fee revenues with our traders to give them the best trading experience. And last but not least, C stands for comprehensive liquidity. We have so many trading pairs. A lot of them are altcoins or meme coins. But if you trade with Maxi, you will feel the liquidity is the best on the market. 0 slippage, and you can always buy and sell very easily. So this is also why we have so many users, which we can help our projects to grow. And beside that, we also have, our operation team is pretty strong. Take Story, for example. We have a whole month for Story. Do you know about that?
No.
Whole month for Story. Putting IP token trading on our banner, on our official website. So every day I open Maxi app, it shows trade with trade IP and get bonuses or lucky draw or whatever fee discount. And the result was super good. We brought, I guess, 220,000 users as new IP token traders. And Maxi becomes, I think, probably the first or the second biggest trading platform in terms of trading volume for IP, right? So with all these pillars, we actually, it's not just I'm saying, it's just, I think SY can also talk about, after collaborating with Maxi, what kind of growth IP got from that. Yeah, so I guess this is what Maxi can bring value to all these builders.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cecilia was saying to you, SY, about
Yeah.
their involvement and support for Story. I mean, more broadly, from a exchange and VCs, when you have worked with them, what kind of support has proved to be like the most valuable to you?
So it depends on the stages. I think what Mexi was very useful for was Mexi came in after TGE, and was probably one of the very few investors we took on after TGE. But it was a lot of the investors we got before the TGE are just classic Silicon Valley style venture capital funds like Andreessen. So they don't really kind of understand kind of all the exchange dynamics, look at market, blah blah blah. But folks like Mexi who really run their own exchange, really actively invest in liquid tokens, from Athena to Story to Aptos and so on and so forth to Ton.
Yeah.
It was it's a very good sounding board for understanding kind of the macro liquid environment and the trading volume. How do we get that up? Blah blah blah. So all these things were super useful for that side. In the early days, I think we were very lucky to have just found one very strong partner who led all our 3 rounds, Andreessen Horowitz. But what they were very, very helpful in terms of they're extremely helpful with recruiting. So I think I think majority of our early C levels, right? They invested in me when I was one person, right? So they because I had an exit experience from the last company, majority of them they helped close together. For instance, it was like CTO. We brought in someone who led the entire technological development of Harmony Protocol, which was an early layer 1. They did like very, very lengthy technical interviews together, kind of picking those candidates, right? They would say, here are the pros, here are the cons. I think you're building a smart contract protocol, but he was building a layer 1. So it's like a little bit of mismatch, but in the long end, here is his strength. He knows how to build a team. He knows how to bootstrap things, So they relentlessly vetted every single person through that network. And especially I was coming from Web 2. I've invested in crypto. I had crypto friends, but I didn't have that experience of building a crypto project. And network. So I think especially what the VCs, I think, at the end of the project is about a team. The team that you build, the vetting, helping recruiting. Oftentimes, like Chris Dixon would get on a call with the candidates and close them if they're on the fence, right? So those things really, really helped out on the recruiting side. And to be honest, once you help vet and help build a team together at a very kind of a stellar team, to be honest, I really believe that if you have a group of smart people in the room, very dedicated, they'll figure a strategy out, right? Right. If they're dedicated, if they're sharp and they're competent with a long-term view, especially we started during like the crypto bear market right after Luna crashed and during the FTX crash. Crypto people who were left during that time were actually just believers. So people who recruited then on were very long-term folks. So I think it really benefited I think the VC, especially getting the VCs to vet on the talents, bring the talents together. I think that was like the biggest value add for us, at least. Yeah.
I think it's no secret as well how much the crypto investment environment more broadly has changed as well in recent times, and many in the audience would have noticed if they're across that space. And for you, Cecilia, I mean, from Mexi's perspective, you guys have stayed relatively active throughout the period. I mean, why is that? Why have you guys kind of continued to invest while, you could say a lot more ventures have become more conservative?
Yeah, we are still very actively investing in the market. Just as I mentioned, I joined Mexi recently. So I joined 1 month ago. It's a new company, a new organization for me. But after I joined, I feel like Mexi is pretty unique, I would say. It runs its business not by its OKR or its KPI. It runs a business by its philosophy. So it's a good thing because you are not like just chasing for short-term KPIs. It's more like they have a long-term vision, like what kind of business they want to build and what kind of relationship they want to keep on this market and how they want to do this business. I guess the first philosophy they have, we have, which is we want to keep things very simple. I think many top exchanges are doing a lot. SEX, DEX, wallets, chains, payment, whatever, everything, regulation-related entities. But Maxi is just keeping doing trading, like very focusing on trading. If I talk about our selling points, it's just super straightforward. We just want to build a very professional trading platform for retail traders. This is a key. So we know that although Maxi is a very big organization, but we know that all these people in Maxi are trading platform people. We know what we can. We know what we are capable of. We are very good at building trading platform, but we might not be good at building a wallet or a chain. So that's why we don't expand our business like crazy. But we also want to take a chance in this market. We want to participate in the big trendy projects. So that's why we focus, our own team only focus on the trading part, but we take our investment as our weapon to go into the market and to look for the best players. Because we are not capable of doing that. So we find, for example, Story, who can build a chain perfectly. So we invest in SY. And the second philosophy is that we also try to empower people a lot. Like I mentioned many, many times, like maximize. We want to maximize our builders, but we know like how we can help them. Maxi as an exchange is very different from VCs, from investors. Because investors, they overview the market, they have money to invest, but they don't have all these resources exchanges have. I'm in the space for 6 years. I can still say that centralized exchange, or maybe one day DEXs, will be the leading sector on the market. So we still have the most users. We still have the most assets on the platform. So we know exactly, after we invest in you, it's kind of a commitment to you guys. We invest in Athena, we invest in Story, which means that we are very confident. After we invest in you guys, you will grow. So we are not like some VCs, which you mentioned, that they have fear to invest in a bear market because they are fully dependent on the market and the project themselves. So if the market is not doing well, if it's the bear market, and they can only count on the builders themselves, but they cannot tell from the early stage. How can I trust you? Are you a long-term builder? Can you guys really survive from the bear market? They cannot tell. But for Maxi, we have this confidence because if I invest in you, I give you all the resources we have. I give you the traders, I give you all my partnerships to support you. So I'm super confident that I buy the ticket, I'm on the same train, same boat with you, and then you will grow. And of course, we will make the profits. So that's why we are still very actively investing on the market now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I guess, coming to the end of the panel, anyone that is in the early stages of developing a project, more broadly, I think, be really interested in hear from all three of you some advice on how they can replicate 10x growth. So we'll start with you, Haseeb, from Dragonfly.
How to experience 10x growth? Believe in something and be worth believing in.
SY?
I think, I just think generally for entrepreneurs, even last company that I built, it was a $500 million exit, but it was just one app, a small mobile app. It took me 8 years to have that success, but it was like, for 6 years it was like this, and the 7th year it went up like this. So, every startup is going to be an overnight success, but it normally happens in 2009. So whenever I meet entrepreneurs, I say, today is going to be dark, tomorrow is going to be darker, but day after tomorrow is going to be, glorious. So always have that, be pessimistic short term, and even more pessimistic midterm, a little bit realistic, but long term be very optimistic. So you need to grind for a long time. You can't be short term. Because I think crypto entrepreneurs, whenever I meet them, they're like, okay, we TG next year, and then we're gonna rip and we're gonna exit in 3 years. that just never happens. It just take, at least if you want a good project, it takes at least 7 years to build anything.
And finally, Cecilia?
I would say if you want to have 10 times growth or you want to be successful with your project, either you came into the market pretty early, you are, but not the first one. You have some pioneers who has already tested the market and you know it's the right direction and you are the first batch of player in this market. Or you have very unique selling points, either your tech or your go-to-market strategy or your resources. Or if you don't have neither of them, just find a great partner, an exchange, a VC, or a bunch of influencers. Find a very strong partners on the market. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I hope the audience got some great insights into scaling early stage projects, and you guys have been fantastic. So how about a round of applause for the three panelists, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Just last thing, we have a big booth there. Everyone can see Maxi booth there. So if you have anything to discuss about the partnership, feel free to come on to our booth.